Just letting you know, this is only my spoiler first impressions of the episode. Check my pinned comment for a free gift related to this video. And to watch my unfiltered reactions with exclusive bonuses, join my Asha Media TV Club. The link is in the description box below. Now, here's my afterthoughts of this episode of Supernatural.
Hot dog! That's my new exclamation of joy. Hot dog! Oh my gosh. Crazy episode. Crazy episode. But I love it. Okay. Let's go back. Where do I want to start off? Well, I like the first setting of the show being so far away in Saudi Arabia. That was cool. I was asking, or I can't remember when, but I've made comments, how it's always interesting whenever they put the setting outside of the US for whatever reason, and the reason here is getting this horn of Joshua. Which, thinking back now, with probably my favorite angel character, to be honest, aside from Lucifer, Sebastian Roche's angel, Balthazar. Yes, basically just bringing up this horn reminded me of him in his episode, since he was collecting all of them, right? He was stealing all of them. Oh, I miss that character. But anyway, very powerful. Relic in hand. So this whole opening with Crowley and this guy and the deal, very well done. I enjoyed it. And I like how it wasn't just something he could just go and find. It was tied up with his own dealings in general. That's good. Let's move forward. Okay, so him having the conversation with the Winchesters, I don't know, there's something about that just makes me laugh. But at the same time, it should be expected. I mean, who else is he going to go to at this point in time if they're trying to find him and kill him? He's got to side with the only other two people who can help him, help himself. I just love the conversation over the phone. But I'm trying to see if I can get a freeze frame here. Yeah, okay, well, I'll settle with this. Just showing them outside the car, like all gangsta, looking for him. I thought that was really cool. I think I think one more shot of it would have been more of a wide shot. Seeing them stroll around would have been cooler. But I like the attempt anyway. Just to kind of show the danger, the risk involved right now of him trying to escape them and still talk to the Winchesters. All right. Yes. Now let me touch on Amara here with. Well, okay, before I even get to that, let me just kind of, I'm going to get too ahead of the scenes here. Okay, there we are. That's what I wanted. Okay, so this whole thing, I'm glad that was definitely on the nose to keep in mind at the time when she did die, because I was just like, really? Like, you're going to have this character leave? The only thing is, though, the way they brought her in, I didn't see her name in the credits, so the way they brought her into the scene after the fact, as if like let's say you didn't know any better as a viewer and you just tuned into this episode, I think that was pretty good because you kind of kill two birds with one stone in a sense where, as a new viewer, I don't know that happened to her till she says it and till she narrates it with scenes haven't been seen before, right? No flashbacks, just an actual scene of the in-between moments from when she got her neck snapped to when she woke up. And as a viewer who has seen the episodes, to then see her and then you want to find out how are you alive? That was good. A nice way to tie it in. I really like that. Okay. Now her trying to basically keep herself safe with playing a side to the degree that's acceptable and then playing the other side, the ping pong back and forth, like mother, like son indeed, between her and Crowley. Anyways, when I get to that scene between them that I found interesting, I'll throw in my 2 cents there, but let's move forward here. Yeah, this is one of the best scenes between Crowley and the boys. I want to see if I can get a wide shot of all three of them. Anyways, I'll start here. just the way they know how he is and we know how he is. And I like when a show can do that, when it brings you in to be with the boys and knowing what to say and what to not you know what I mean. Just right now, babble mouth. I just loved how they called him on it. And as a viewer, you're just like, yep, that's the way it is. There's always an if with you, Crowley. What's the deal? What's the plan? That in the end will serve him, and, you know, try to serve everybody else all at the same time and being fair and all that. But more than anything, it's the back and forth conversation, which we haven't got to. So, okay, I won't jump too ahead there. All right. This whole thing with heaven. Lucifer showing up. So yeah, one of you answered that there's no guarantee where you're gonna go when you get blasted back. Cause it seemed so much the case, but I guess I got that wrong. Like many other times, I am always wrong anyway. But either way, he's here now, and his introduction back to the group, back to the family, no doubt memorable. And then he turns him into mist. I love how he says it later on when he's like, he likely blew himself. Let's see if I can freeze frame on a good clip here. Okay. I mean, I don't want to be too redundant and continuously saying I enjoy Misha Collins' performance, but I'm not going to deny and say that also, while he's performing, I'm thinking also, how would Mark Pellegrino say the same lines in the same scene? And for those of you who this is your version of Lucifer you prefer, good for you. Right now for me, it's still Mark Pellegrino, because I'll never know, right? I'll never know how he would have performed that scene. So I almost can't even really judge that. But for me, Lucifer is him. But it's definitely not to take away from Misha's performance, which actually created a bit of conflict in me at some point. I'll get to. Hopefully I can word it properly without offending you Castiel lovers. Then again, I say that, but I already know in the back of my head I'll still slightly offend you, and you'll find a polite way to defend your stance in your comments. Okay, look at this face. It's funny. All right, yeah, so here we are. The argument of Cass's choice and all that. Rachel L., you're the only one I could think of right now who, you know, you just want to make that point that you did in your comment about understanding the depth of that choice and so forth and so on. When it comes to this show, I love how they always bring up two very strong arguments. So far, at this point in the episode, as I had said, I leaned very much with Sam's reasoning, only because I'm an advocate of respecting individual choice, period. So if it was Dean that would have said that argument, I would have been Team Dean. So it's not about preference on the character, it's about the resonance of the argument, which was very well written in terms of dialogue. Although at the end, it seemed like it didn't really mean much, but whatever. I guess that should have been expected too. Okay, so yes, this part here with Rowena trying to, I think she was sincere in the way she was reaching out to her. I mean, obviously self-preservation for sure, but from one woman to another, that's what I think they were trying to show. What do you want to call that? Spirit of sisterhood. I mean, that's what she's used to as a witch, with wanting a coven and all that they've shown from the very beginning with Rowena. And I think this moment with Amara, seeing Amara as a person who has feelings and all that. Essentially, I like the attempt at showing Rowena trying that, although to what extent is she sincere? Who knows? I think she is sincere to some degree, but it's going to not hurt her. But just the way she kind of saved herself in the situation there. When she tried to reach out. That was good. I'll leave it here at that shot. That was really, really well done. What could have been, I guess. They could have been BFFs. Or maybe not. Okay. Yeah, so this whole part, oh gosh. kudos to you, Misha Collins, with this. This was just so much fun. And I love how he did it with the demons and now he's doing it with the angels. And if anything, it speaks of Lucifer as a character. So take away Mark, take away Misha Collins, you know, and just look at the character of Lucifer himself. I like how through this portrayal we can see that despite the bad things, like he was a good leader as an angel before he got cast out. You know? I mean, if you consider the lore of Lucifer in general, you know, not the DC Comics version. Anyway. Okay. Yeah, so here we have Amara flexing her powers. Or how did Dean put it? Playing, it was like a pinky version. I forgot how he said it, but more or less, she's showing that she's ready to play ball. And this is the least of her powers being shown. And look at the damage already seen here from this angel's perspective. I like Lucifer's reaction to it. That's a good shot, huh? Yeah. So, Dean sensing that this is definitely the beginning of the end, more or less. They're both sensing it. If anything, like he says here, if you needed convincing that they've got to work together, there's their proof. And then becoming their new god and all that. I think I passed that part, but that was fun. Expected as well. Okay, let me now, I gotta move a little forward on here. So yeah, this was cool. In how she showed that she's alive and well and ready to party, Fergus. only Ruth Connell could say that. Say that so well. I think I'm saying her name wrong. Ruth O'Connell, right? And it's interesting how Crowley didn't even seem all that surprised. I guess he shouldn't be. He knows his mother quite well. Okay, let's get to it now when they get him in the ring of fire. And then they have a chitter-chatter back and forth. But then Crowley does the unexpected, but yet the perfect action that fits with previous episodes. And this is what's making me so excited to see how they're staying consistent in fitting things together that has been seen, that we've seen before, right? This is how he saved Sam from, what's his name? Gadriel. And then we see him make the same attempt to go and talk to Cass. Oh, this was just great. This is just great. And it's at this point, right here, as he gets to Castiel, I was like, yep, this is definitely another favorite episode. Just because it's in alignment with previous episodes we've seen. This is not something new out of the box. And seeing now from Castiel's perspective of the whole situation, very, very interesting. All right, I'm trying to see how I can word this. Maybe it's too early, but I guess seeing Castiel again and seeing that he is kind of just nonchalant, you know, to him it's like, hey, you know, let Lucifer take care of it. I'm doing my part. He made the choice kind of thing. Yeah, it's too early for me to, and I don't want to spend time babbling. I do that enough, don't I? Especially when it's just babbles that's just completely, some of you, you take it as like me trying to put down Castiel as a character, and I'm almost getting just tired of trying to express myself in a certain way to make myself more clear. So I'll leave it alone. It was great to see the scene. I think that's enough for me to kind of cover up as best as I want. And you all know I love Mark Pellegrino. Every single second he's on screen, I will always cherish. And it was wonderful. I love this part where Crowley reaches out to them this way. That was really good. If anything, I'm relieved to see that at points where Mark's character or Mark as an actor is required as the true Lucifer, they are able to deliver. Because I'm trying to think how the scene could have worked any other way. They probably just wouldn't have written it. They maybe would have done something else, but they didn't. And it just makes this such a wonderful episode all around. Because you're getting to see Mark as Lucifer, and you're getting to see Misha Collins as Lucifer, and then you get to see Cass as well. the whole blend of it, fantabulous. No complaints there. Okay, then we got Big Mama. She's like ready to show her powers, and she shows them indeed. This was probably one of the best action suspense moment of the entire episode because he has the horn, right? And at this point, I was literally just blank. I was like, no, I wasn't blank. I was thinking two things. I was like, either they're going to just kind of get rid of the Mara storyline and shift over into something else right here. Because, I mean, we've got 6 episodes left, and I actually wouldn't put it past this show to kind of just wrap up one story and move on to another. So I was like, okay, I wouldn't have mind if that's what they were going to do, to be honest, because, I mean, all these episodes in, I still am not 100% on what they're trying to show with Amara just yet. And so I was like, all right, if this is going to be where he finally gets rid of her, and then it's going to be about save Cass from Lucifer. Lucifer ends up being the big bad of the situation towards the end of the season. I was actually fine with that. But it seems like that's not what they're doing. But nonetheless, the suspense of it, that's what I'm trying to describe, was so enthralling and so captivating, and visually very well done. Very well done. They really sold me on this. And look at the horn completely drained out, turning white. It's the little things. All right, let's see if I can get the freeze frame where, well, Mara. Question mark on her. But let's just say I'm starting to see, I mean, maybe it was obvious before, but for me, it just wasn't. But in this episode, it's even more like spelled out why some of you just couldn't take to the character. And I guess it doesn't get any better since there hasn't been any positive comments at all, except for one person I talked to who didn't mind her as a character, but also didn't claim to love her either. So sometimes it's not what you're saying that tells me a lot. Okay, but that moment here, yeah, right here. Oh, I was on it the whole time. Yeah, when he said Cass, Jensen just nailed the beat of the way he said it. It was so heartbreaking. And having Amara react to him, it's almost like she just realized, oh, Dean, you know, yes, I gotta touch back with you at some point. But that was quite something. And so I said out loud, you know, for a lot of you Destiel fans, that must have been like, oh, yes, he knows his love for Cass. Okay, and then she disappears with him. This was a good summary wrap-up of the entire episode. I enjoyed this. I mean, I could see on one standpoint of this being just a little too much of, I wouldn't say babying the audience, but at the same time, this is naturally something Sam and Dean do, is rehash what's happened. And me as a viewer, who may have been confused, likely, I needed some of that clarification of what's been interpreted thus far. All these bottles of beer. But yeah, towards the end here, where, yeah, I'll just leave it there. I think that's a good way to kind of cap it off, where they're talking about sticking to a principle. Then it's like, yeah, good for the principle, but we're saving her. We're saving Cass. And they had no choice at this point, considering how things left off with Amara and Lucifer. And I'll go back, well, while I'm editing, I'm going to listen back to this scene because I think there's a lot being said here with how she perceived him, or how she thinks God perceived Lucifer, and Lucifer's perception of the situation as well, to ally himself against God. But if anything that was clear right before the final blast on him, I'll stay right here to finish what I'm saying. If anything that's clear at this point, Chuck's coming back. If they do not show God in this season, let's just say I'm going to not hold back on probably the most negative rant you'll ever hear from me up until this point. That's all I'm going to say. Because there's teasing something, and then there's just like completely subverting, you know, Star Wars The Last Jedi kind of fashion that will just infuriate me as a viewer. And I will definitely not hold back. That's for sure. Okay, so the last part here where she blasts him, I'm now thinking about Castiel in there, feeling the pain, having his TV shows interrupted. But more than anything, hashtag save Cass and defeat Amara and do something with Lucifer. All in one. All right, Ashamoji wise, it is definitely a 5. Absolutely rewatchable. In fact, this is probably the only episode thus far, aside from episode 4, that I'll likely rewatch a lot of the scenes as I'm editing. For sure. Very good. There you have it. Those are my afterthoughts for episode number 18 from the 11th season of Supernatural. If you want access to my unfiltered reaction to this episode, including any pause commentary or bonus stuff that I share only with members, details on joining my club is in the description box below. All right, everyone, I'm going to get ready to watch episode 19, so I will see you in that review video soon enough. Bye!
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos.